Maslow's needs: aesthetic, cognitive, and neurotic layers of human motivation. Maslow described cognitive needs as the instinctoid drives that motivate purposeful behavior. These include physiological needs like food, water, and sleep, followed by safety, love and belonging, esteem, and self-actualization. They're called instinctoid because they're biologically inborn, but they can be shaped through learning. When these needs are blocked, frustration often leads to psychological distress or pathology. Deprivation needs, or D needs, make up the first four levels of Maslow's hierarchy: physiological, safety, love, and esteem needs. They arise from deprivation, or when something essential is missing. The unpleasant feelings of lack motivate us to fulfill these needs. All D needs are instinctoid, but not all instinctoid needs are deprivation-based. Self-actualization, for instance, is instinctoid, but not a deprivation need. It's driven by growth, not lack. Maslow also identified three other categories beyond the cognitive hierarchy: aesthetic, cognitive, and neurotic needs. Aesthetic and cognitive needs are considered B needs or being needs because satisfying them supports psychological health. When they're deprived, pathology tends to appear. Neurotic needs, on the other hand, are unproductive and unhealthy. Their motivations that emerge from anxiety rather than growth. Aesthetic needs involve our desire for beauty, symmetry, and order. It's our draw toward what feels balanced and meaningful. They're considered B needs because they emerge only after physiological and safety needs are met. Unlike universal needs, aesthetic needs vary in importance across people and cultures. For some, they're essential to well-being, but for others, they may play a smaller role. For those who value them highly, beauty becomes a prerequisite for emotional and spiritual health. The purpose of aesthetic needs is personal fulfillment and psychological well-being. That's finding joy in things like art, music, or nature. When satisfied, these needs support overall health and growth. When deprived, people may experience distress or even illness. Maslow noted that living in squalid, colorless, or chaotic environments can harm psychological functioning because humans thrive on balance and form. Coates explored how Christian faith connects beauty and spiritual life. He found that beauty isn't treated as luxury, but as an expression of shalom, wholeness, peace, and right relationship with God. Believers are called to create and appreciate beauty through worship, art, and community. For Christians, satisfying aesthetic needs means living with harmony, gratitude, and creative purpose. Faith can cultivate aesthetic awareness by connecting human creativity with the divine order. Cognitive needs represent our desire to understand, solve mysteries, and make sense of the world around us. They're universal across people and cultures and become foundational once our lower needs are met. When blocked, all other needs are threatened because knowledge supports every level of functioning. The purpose of cognitive needs is to acquire knowledge, solve problems, and explore meaning. Satisfaction of these needs supports overall health and helps fulfill our cognitive drive. When deprived, however, pathology can emerge, often seen as skepticism, cynicism, or a loss of curiosity. Shute and Maloof in 2020 explored how curiosity shapes flow, that deep state of engagement, and creativity. They found that greater curiosity led to stronger flow experiences, which in turn boosted creativity. Fulfilling our cognitive needs supports growth and self-actualization, and even connects to aesthetic awareness, showing how curiosity and creativity can reflect divine purpose. Finally, neurotic needs are the unhealthy side of motivation, unrealistic or rigid desires that arise from anxiety, insecurity, or unmet basic needs. They aren't universal, they develop as coping responses to adverse environments. When neurotic needs dominate, behavior becomes defensive and compulsive, rather than purposeful and fulfilling. They're not universal, but arise from anxiety and unhealthy environments. When unmet safety, love, or esteem needs persist, people may cling to the rigid habits or false sources of comfort to try to resolve this. Once these needs take over, growth becomes blocked. Neurotic needs compensate for unmet safety, love, or esteem needs in an attempt to soothe basic anxiety. For example, hoarding or dependency may give the illusion of control, but these needs don't lead to fulfillment. They create stagnation and pathology, whether satisfied or not. Kuzrin and Kusumiyati found that students high in neuroticism experienced more anxiety and comparison when using social media. Their emotional instability led to compulsive scrolling and fear of exclusion, showing how unmet belonging or esteem needs can drive digital over-engagement. Maslow viewed motivation as holistic and layered. Biological, emotional, social, and spiritual needs work together. People move through a hierarchy, satisfying one level before the next emerges, but it's not rigid. Multiple motives overlap and interact. As one need is met, it stops motivating behavior and focus shifts upward. Everyone shares the same basic needs, but neglect in one area can reverse the growth. For instance, someone might be materially comfortable, yet emotionally or spiritually empty. B needs, or being needs, increase as they're fulfilled, driving continual growth and creativity. D needs, or deficiency needs, motivate only when they're lacking. When deprived, pathology develops. Growth aims to reach beyond survival, while deficiency aims simply to remove discomfort. Moore and colleagues explored how people rank human needs. Survival needs always come first, but when safety was secure, people valued belonging and autonomy more. When the resources were threatened, motivation returned to survival, proving that context can reshape the hierarchy. Scripture aligns with Maslow's framework. The New Jerusalem fulfills aesthetic longing for order and beauty. Solomon's pursuit of wisdom shows cognitive motivation, and his sorrow reveals the burden of higher knowledge. Saul's paranoia over losing power exemplifies the neurotic need rooted in fear. Moses' journey mirrors self-actualization. As he transcends fear and comfort, fulfill purpose. His growth reflects self-transcendence, serving a divine mission greater than himself. He embodies spiritual obedience with personal transformation.